Hi, this is Doug with Aytwit Engineering. So I was walking around the woods on my property the other day and I came across what looks to be a really old fire pit. I couldn't be quite sure because it was all covered with leaves. I've only half uncovered it, but if it is a fire pit, it's very old, and I have romantic notions that it's maybe hundreds of years old, but I don't know, we'll find out. So let's go check it out and let's uncover it and see what we can learn. This is my backyard. Now we're approaching Fairy Tale Trail, still under construction. Should also be finished in the spring. So Fairy Tale Trail continues into the woods to a trail system, but here, just going off the grid here into the boulder strewn few acres of woods here. And here we go. This is the possible fire pit that I have found. I've already uncovered this this D shape of rocks. This was all covered with wood, old wood and leaves and dirt and moss and everything. I kind of saw the impression of a ring here, and that's what kind of led me to believe that this might be a fire pit. And the cool aspect of this is that it's right up against this giant boulder. And the boulder itself is really cool. It has this perfectly straight gap that I guess, I don't know how it got split off geologically or whatever. Or I mean, maybe manually. I don't see any tool marks or anything though. It is like just like a laser cut it. Kind of cool. And same thing over here. It has another laser cut. It's like out of a video game. Like this thing just got sliced by a hot beam. And so the reason I think this boulder is cool is because I think if I have a big fire here, the boulder is both going to reflect the heat back to some seats I'll put around the fire ring. And also I'm interested to see how much heat this thing will absorb if I make a huge fire. Like, will I be able to feel the heat on the other side of the boulder on a cold night? That kind of thing. And like, can you lay on top of it? Like, like if you're making this into an overnight kind of little camping trip. And the other thing is I can probably wedge some sticks along the top of the boulder, hanging out over the fire, to hang like cook pots or kettles or a grill, like a metal grate. So this boulder just offers a lot of cool possibilities in fire making, fire utilization. So let's try to clean this up. Maybe I'll find some evidence that this is a fire pit in the first place, and maybe some evidence of how old it is. Maybe I'll find some arrowheads in here. Yeah, let's get to it. Okay, initial clearance is complete here. There's no evidence, unfortunately, of lost civilizations here, used by Native Americans or colonials or anything fun like that. In fact, I don't even know if it was really a dedicated fire pit, to be honest. I did find a few rotted logs, like that kind of looked like this and this, that were cut and maybe attempted to be burned here. So maybe someone just set up a quick fire break here at one point to burn some leaves or extra wood. Nothing fancy, it looks like. One interesting thing is a lot of the rocks in this pile here kind of broke off of the bottom of this big boulder. You can see where the wet line is, where all the where I dug out all this loam, I guess. Yeah, wet dirt and logs and leaves. A lot of rocks broke off there, which is something to keep in mind when I have a roaring bonfire here, perhaps. There might be a chance that I have to read up on this safety-wise. Make sure rock can't really splinter and fly off like a bullet or anything if it gets superheated. Yeah, I don't know. Just caution first, always. And part of that is a big thing that I will have to consider is you can see this part of the boulder. It's kind of shearing off. Looks like a radically different composition than the rest of the boulder. Lots of quartz and mica in there, really rough grain, whereas the rest of the boulder is whatever it is, basalt, just pure basalt. And when I say safety with this thing is if I go around the back, you can see it looks like it's barely hanging on. So if I have a huge bonfire, there's a chance this thing can split off, and what if one of my kids is just sitting there at the time? So I'm going to reinforce that, just pile up a bunch of huge boulders, so if it does fall, it'll kind of just nestle onto the boulders and take up the space where somebody could possibly be sitting there for whatever reason. So yeah, things to look up on. So yeah, next step will be to just fill in that D-shaped ring and give it a test. Let's make a huge bonfire and see how this rock behaves. I hope it gets super heated. That would be pretty cool. Alright, I got this to the point where I'm going to make a fire in it tonight. So we'll see how this thing goes. Just going to try to lean a bunch of logs on this big boulder, see how they burn. So stay tuned for that. Alright, now the roll part. Got it?
Yeah.
Alright.
So can you make a video of it?
It's recording now.
No, I'm doing this. I'm doing this. Yeah, that is like extra pieces. Oh, can I talk? And this is from the dragon stuff.
Alright guys, I have to move this stuff. Sorry.
Yeah, that's Dylan's decoration things. Can I talk a little bit?
Yeah, go on.
Okay, so we're making a fire here with big rock.
I made those.
And we're just making a long now.
Yeah, I just want to help.
That's my brother knows how to make stuff.
Alright guys, ready?
Oh,
Light it.
my god, this is the best time ever. So, there's sticks.
These are good sticks.
So we're gonna make a big one. Maybe I should try a little bit. See it? So that's growing. And now it's getting a little bit bigger. You can see it, by the way.
I'll pull the wood here.
And here my daddy's bringing it.
Good.
Okay, too white. Guys, you know we gotta make the fire more bigger and we gotta put more sticks, that's why. I want decoration. Now here my brother is sticking one inside there. So enjoy to watch the fire people. You want to talk? Oh, you know, those look like peanuts. It's like sharp mixed up with sweet. I want up here. Think it was going to pop. So can we now?
No, wait until it's big, trust me.
We're gonna put the vlogs in. Daddy, are we gonna put the vlogs in? Cause I think I actually want to go near it. I can go in it, right?
Yeah, first.
Cause my like. And now we're making. It's gonna go medium, then more bigger and more bigger. Daddy, oh, look at that smoke. You see it? Yeah, you see it. There's smoke going everywhere. No? Baby monsters come out and smell the smoke like. And people have died of it. Oh, that is good. That is good. That is good.
Get back. Go. Watch out.
Will I have my phone?
It's the day after the fire here, and if you look close up, you can see that one of the most interesting things that happened, besides the just huge roaring fire, is that it kind of broke all the rock. It kind of ate through the rock. I think it might be called spalling. Maybe I should have looked that up. But you can tell the rock kind of bubbled out, and I guess there was just layers of moisture in there that turned in, expanded, turned into steam, boiled, whatever, and actually pushed the rock out, which is pretty incredible. You can hear it kind of tinkling during the entire fire, just like glass falling onto like if you threw a broken glass away into your garbage, that kind of tinkling sound, which was really cool. Yeah, and so if I take the hammer here, I can kind of probably simulate what happened. Yeah, and these are all the chunks that fell off. Just really brittle flakes. And it really ate into this big slab that's hanging off. So I'm probably actually just going to try to split that off myself instead of propping it with boulders, because it really looks like it's about to fall. So let's have my kids finish off all this bubbled out rock, because they'll love that. Yep.
Start now?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're actually we're just cracking up the rocks, and then they're gonna go down there and we're gonna start the video.
Good job. Get your hammers, boys.
Okay, we're just gonna rock and roll.
Yep, hit it.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God, you saw that spark? Huh. I got one out!
It's shaking.
Okay, so now it's gonna get more lower. Look, I got some. There's a bunch already in the same place. So that's now we have a file. So now we're there. And that whole thing is just gonna jam down. Maybe.
Oh yeah, look at that.
Look at this file!
Oops, sorry.
I got one out.
This
Be
is
careful,
old
sharp.
rock, guys. This was like it's a long day ago. This was lava.
I'm really I am kind of a little bit surprised of this.
Drop down there.
Whoa,
Here, Liam, get out of there. I'll drop it down.
I'm an orc. God, I'm an orc. Orc racing. Okay, now we get one big piece. We're getting another one big piece.
All right, here we go.
Oh,
Thou shalt not pass.
Oh, there's a big rock. No,
Gotcha.
that rock was just moving. Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thou shalt not
No, I
pass.
told you that was really big. So now, let's be orcs. You don't like them.
Well, as you can see, we just destroyed this boulder. The fire just totally, step aside. You can see all the rocks.
Look at this big rock.
Yeah, we just
So
the fire
this
just totally
big-
destroyed.
So I am trying to just
Huge
crack-
chunk fell off.
So now I am trying to get this jewelry off,
Oh yeah.
but it's
Jewelry.
gonna take some time to take it off. So now I am gonna take some sparkles, like my brother always do. So,
Those are some power crystals, right?
so yeah, I can like put in a stick
Yeah.
or something. So now I'm working on that. Please like, shower,
Comment,
comment,
subscribe.
subscribe.
Good.
Good.
All right.
Subscribe.
See you next time.